understanding is that the Irish Cabinet has now agreed on that plan to move the country to level 5 restrictions. Ireland's operating a 5-tier system, so this is moving it to the maximum set.
Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar, in the last half hour, has said that all schools, colleges and childcare facilities in Ireland will close until March 29th. Let's turn to our deputy.
Contact tracing and testing are seen as crucial to try and stop the spread of the virus.
Ireland remains in a containment phase, which is about identifying and containing all cases, no matter how mild. It's focused on caring for those infected and tracing their close contacts and advocating self-isolation.
As we approach the 1-year anniversary of COVID-19 in Ireland, the feeling of defeat stifles the air. It is our second lockdown and the first of a new year, and with no end in sight, the uncertainty larger than ever before of our personal futures and countries. It can be said without question, this is an anniversary we will not be celebrating. Late February of 2020, our lives took an unexpected turn for the worst when the first case of COVID came to our naive island. The virus hid inside an unfortunate woman returning home from Italy, our own patient zero. Although the news story broke 2 months prior about a mysterious new virus in Wuhan, China, we were completely dumbfounded and ill-prepared to deal with the outbreak, and it comes as no surprise. Wuhan is a whopping 9,148 kilometres away from Ireland. We never suspected that it would reach Europe, never mind us. Since that day, our lives have been changed forever. Our faith in the government, while not the strongest in the first place, may now be damaged beyond repair. A string of yo-yo lockdowns, isolation stints, and overall uncertainty on how this will play out and affect our social lives. Education, free will and health has come to a pinnacle height, and the social unrest is insurmountable. However, it didn't always feel like this. At the beginning of the crisis, there was a strong sense of nationality and duty to protect our own, especially the vulnerable and the elderly who were most affected by COVID-19. We are frightened of it, while at the same time being stupendously optimistic and hopeful that it wouldn't last. So when schools and businesses began to shut down, it didn't seem unreasonable. It was the logical next step, and we were for the most part happy to comply. For many students, it felt like a mini vacation from schoolwork. Plenty of students took full advantage of the COVID storm, unsurprisingly, by faking bad internet and claiming to be ignorant on how we use new systems or technology in general, even though our generation was practically born with a smartphone in our hands. Although that certainly wasn't the case for everyone, for the majority, the student struggle is a real one. Students living in the countryside with genuinely bad Wi-Fi connections were left struggling to keep up with work, and some still are. Many students didn't own a laptop or have a computer at home, were left to do assignment work on their mobile phones. Thankfully now there's loans and grants in place for students that need them. Still, the anxiety and uncertainty that comes with that is something no student should ever feel, not to mention the students with disabilities like dyslexia and dyscalculia who had to adapt to online school without their teaching aids or support classes. As most holidays tend to do, the easy and relaxed feeling of the first semi-lockdown ended abruptly, and reality hit students like a ton of brick. Many students could not cope with online classes. Some things just cannot be taught over a screen. Teachers struggled to navigate their teaching styles and make it work online. The lack of social comfort and interactions among fellow peers became all too much. Motivation dwindled and priorities got misplaced. A study done in Ireland on October 2020 reported that 61% of young people claimed to have low levels or suboptimal levels of well-being, and 48%, nearly half, felt depressed or anxious. In response to the increase in mental health demands, the government announced they would give an additional $3 million to funding. In a worldwide study done also in October of 2020 by WHO for World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October, it reported that there was a 72% disruption of mental health services globally in regard to students. In this documentary, we will follow the lives of several students currently in third level education in their second and final year of college at Waterford College of Further Education.
I am really excited for the documentary production, just because the lecturer said it will be very exciting, and I'm excited to work with the course.
Yeah, I'm excited for the year, I'm excited for the course, I'm excited to learn about the documentaries and all the theory behind it and things like that. But there's a lot of things that are going to be unpredictable, so I suppose we're just going to have to you know, be adaptable, get on with it. But I am optimistic because all our lecturers are great, the people on the course are great, so I think we can manage to pull it off.
I genuinely don't think as a COVID's going to affect us too much. That's like fingers crossed if nothing happens. I want to be like purely optimistic that say we won't go down for another lockdown. Hopefully it won't be as long as last year. I'm really looking forward to doing the video of going around town with my other classmates, recording stuff for our documentary for whatever we decide to do. Hopefully we might even go up the country to even record stuff up there for doing something on Ireland. I'm actually genuinely looking forward to how the year's going to start.
I think COVID's going to have a big impact. You know, one-way systems in the college, wearing masks in class, not being able to like get to know everyone properly because we're 2 meters apart in classrooms and we're not allowed to congregate. I think it's going to be difficult, but like I think at the same time we've been living with it now since March, so we're just going to have to kind of learn to adapt and get on with it. But I hope it doesn't interfere too much, and I hope we don't end up online, because that is awful.
Lack of drive and motivation has definitely been the worst part of the year, because I'm usually someone who's very like get things done, and you know, I don't postpone anything, I don't put it to last minute, but that's all I've been doing this year with work, assignments. It's just been this vigorous cycle that I can't seem to break myself out of.
So the first question I'm going to tackle is question 2, which was, what was the best part about 2020 for you? And the best part of 2020 for me was probably my birthday, only because my birthday fell like in between lockdowns, so I was still able to have like 2 or 3 friends over, and obviously abiding to the social distancing rules, I was still able to see them, and like I hadn't seen them in a few months before that. Even before March I hadn't seen some of them since last year. So it was nice to kind of get to see them before we went into another lockdown, but it was just to have that sense of normality, I suppose, for my birthday.
I think COVID was a detriment to our education in particular, because our course isn't just theory based. You can do theory from anywhere because it's just research. But because our course is so project based, we didn't have access to any of the things we needed, studios or keyboards or computers, even our tutors to be able to actually show us or physically help us. Like, you can't, you know, physically show someone something through an email.
The teachers are being nicer, they're giving us more time, they're being a bit handier with the marks, like they're very understanding, the teachers. So we've got that, like, you know, there's a lot of room for a black garden, I think. I feel able to tackle the whole online thing, and then some days I just have a complete meltdown and breakdown, and I can't do it, and I want to throw my laptop out the window, and my back's down hard because I'm sitting on a chair all day and I'm not doing anything, and I don't get to see my friends, and it's kind of annoying. It hasn't benefited it at all, but it hasn't deteriorated it either, so
day to day from like since COVID has happened with like all this coursework, it's literally just wake up in the morning, log into the class, get marked in, do your assignment work, take a break, have your lunch, go back to work, and then after that you go to bed. That's pretty much most of the stuff that I think most students are doing right now. Like, we're on nearly like clockwork, nearly like living robots at this stage, running off of fumes in the hope that this all will be over and we can actually go off and enjoy ourselves. Like, you can go for a walk, and that's fair enough, and some people play games like online, like they have a Switch, they have an Xbox, but being constantly stuck in, I think they get bored pretty easily of like that stuff as well. I know I have. That's the only problem. Lockdown now, I feel now that I suffer greatly from the lack of social interaction, because I used to every Sunday go off with my family, like to do stuff like go to the pub or go out to Tranmore for a walk, and you can't do that now because we're all confined to our own 5 kilometres. I can't even visit my nan in the home. Like, didn't even go in and visit her and give her like a hug or anything. I only have a window visit, and that's it doesn't really do much. You can't even go into town with your friends, and I miss going in, even though we used to do like nothing. it's the fact that we can't meet up or do mostly anything that really gets to me more than that in this lockdown. We all have to like protect everyone, I know, but it does weigh down on you like mentally a lot. That's the only thing.
Depends how long this lasts for. Like if this lasts for 5 more years, then we'll just go cracked all together, mad all together. But it's only lasting till the summer, hopefully lockdown. So if it's, we'll just go back to the daily routine and just go drinking and pubbing and nightclubbing. Who knows how long this thing's gonna last? And if it doesn't last that much longer, then I'd say we'll all just go stark mad.
Politically, I think we are lucky to be living in Ireland through COVID. I don't know, I think at the start it was easy because everyone was just told to stay at home across the world, and that's what it was. And I think once you start opening up and then you have to have lockdowns again, nobody's going to be happy. And then other bits of society have to open, and then some people get left behind and people feel like we're not all in it together. But I think, you know, we are lucky to be in Ireland. We have a democracy. Anywhere you are, tough choices have to be made. So I think we're in as good a place as we can be, but you're never going to make everyone happy. There's so many problems within the problem. I just think.
I think what keeps me just motivated about the future is just knowing that this will get better. It might not happen for another year, 2 years, 5 years, but I know that one day we will get to a place where we just look back on COVID and be like, oh, do you remember that happened? Like, you know, I think it's not going to last forever, which is keeping me somewhat sane anyway.
With the vaccination rollout, it does give some sort of hope with the way Ireland's gone about it. It's just, I don't know, like looking at New Zealand and places like that, you're just kind of like, oh my God, like, will we ever get back to that? It's just so unreal, like, I don't know how to say it. It's just unrealistic seeing them doing all this, like going to parties, not social distancing, not having to wear masks anymore. It's just crazy seeing them do this, whereas I was watching a film the other night and I actually asked myself, why aren't they wearing masks? Like, it's just become a thing now, and I don't know.
The year didn't turn out the way I wanted at all. We ended up on online college. That did not help anyone, I don't think, whatsoever, especially me. I have severe attention issues. I am being diagnosed with ADHD, so I can't pay attention for like long periods of time. If it's something like really serious like Ableton, I'm thankful that the videos were recorded. If I wasn't, I'd be so lost.
I cannot say that this college year has gone smoothly because it really hasn't. With this college year, it's become that I was like convincing myself that it was fine, but it really wasn't. It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine at all.
Like, we got through it and we didn't drop out, and hopefully, like, there are better days ahead. But yeah, I wouldn't do it again. But I think it showed all of us like that we can't going to do anything, which is so ridiculously cheesy to say, but like, yeah, so it wasn't all bad, but yeah, 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
But there was also reliefs from actually submitting the assignments you didn't think you were going to submit, and yeah, so this no, it did not go like I thought it would go at all.
You go into these things with the best of intentions, and then the world was against us this year, and I suppose it just came down to like leaning on like my classmates and all of us working together and relying on lecturers to put up with like countless emails because we couldn't see them in person.
I can sum up the whole year with one word: stressful.
Bad. But okay, I made it through. It's a bit shaky. Shaky, that's good. Manic. But also a bit chaotic.
Hectic with everything, all the stress, all the assignments, work, everything we're dealing with in our personal lives. It's just been a lot anyway.
I'll use 2 words. I'd say it was character building in the worst way possible.